Well, welcome to the very first Kickin' It with Mclovin. We have a very special guest for our first guest, my favorite father. That's right, Pete Eugene is his radio name, from the suburbs of Chicago. Welcome to Kickin' It, Dad.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
So I figured what we would do for, I don't know if this will be kind of a continuing thing, but what I'd like to do with you is kind of we'll call it a what's your favorite. So I'll ask you a bunch of your favorites, and then we can kind of go into a little bit about them if you want on several of them. And, you know, I'm sure you got some good stories. I know you're a good storyteller, so we'll kind of go like that. But first, I guess, do you want to maybe mention your little radio background, Pete Eugene?
When I was in college, I was the newscaster for WCBU-FM in Peoria for Bradley University. I worked during the Vietnam War, or the end of the Vietnam War, doing the news. Every half an hour, we were tied into ABC News. On the hour, they would do the national news, and then I do the local news, weather, and sports. And on a half hour, I just did an update on all of that, basically, with a little national news, which I had really a hard time pronouncing all the Vietnamese cities. One of the local TV station guys says that P. Eugene's really good, but he can't produce or pronounce worth a damn. So anyway, that was my radio career. So they promoted me, of course.
Of course,
and
yeah.
I was then the assistant news manager, and I trained people, and I said, hopefully you could pronounce the city names better than I could. So that was my career at Bradley for a couple of years. I did that, and I made a little money when I was promoted to assistant news manager.
I guess you could say that's where I got the radio bug and my poor pronouncing skills from then. So there you go.
Oh, thank you.
Anything, yeah, anytime. So, okay, well, thank you for sharing that. We can kind of go through the favorites, and if you got something interesting to say about each question, feel free to do that, and maybe I'll ask you about it or whatever as well. So, first off, favorite color?
Favorite color is red, and I probably got that from my dad. That was his favorite color, too, so I don't wear too much red clothing, but I always try to get a red car that I like the color. Over the years, I've gotten a lot of red cars. Red's been my favorite color.
Makes you very noticeable when you're speeding and everything too.
Right. My mother always said, get a car that you can see, so somebody just doesn't ram into you or something.
There you go. Okay, what's your favorite food?
Favorite food? I like a lot of different kinds of food. I like meat a lot, so prime rib would be my favorite, or steak would be my favorite. I like all sorts of things. I like cookies. I like butter cookies, ice cream. I like Rocky Road, and things like that. So I'm a foodie.
Okay,
all different kinds of food.
Yeah, sticking with that theme. Favorite drink of any kind?
Favorite drink, cherry Coke. Yeah,
that is a good one.
Or did you want alcoholic beverage?
No, that's fine. You can go with cherry Coke. That's good.
Yeah, cherry Coke was my favorite, I think, all the time. When they used to not have it made, and that when you used to go to the restaurant, they would put in a cherry syrup, and then with a maraschino cherry they would put in. Now it's all blended together. And I don't get the maraschino cherry anymore, like when I was a kid.
Right. I know you're a cherry fan, so yeah, okay. I have the inside scoop, I guess, a little bit there.
Yeah.
What about, do you have a favorite book?
Favorite book?
I'm learning stuff new, too, as well, because...
Yeah, I think, probably one of my favorite books more, recently, and that's not even that recent, when you read this in high school, because I've been in Chicago most of my life, the chronicling of the Chicago World's Fair and the mass murderer who lived at the same time. What was the name of that book? You read it.
Oh, Devil in the White City.
Devil in the White City.
Yeah, I was thinking,
that's
okay.
Probably, and I read then a couple more of his books, which were very interesting on World War II and in Berlin, and I can't remember another one. I thought I read about a third one. But yeah, Devil in the White City, and they've been, for years, going to make a movie out of it, and I think now they're finally going to have produce it on cable. I don't think it's going to go on, unfortunately, not to the big screen.
Yeah, I was reading something about that. I think, who was it, Leonardo DiCaprio? He bought the rights to it.
Scorsese, I think, are going to team up on that.
Yeah, so that should be exciting. Okay, well, based off of that then, do you have a favorite TV show right now?
Big Bang Theory, yeah. That's probably my favorite.
Okay, yeah, that's ending this year, too.
Yeah, very sad. It's very well written. And maybe I feel a kinship to it because when I was in high school, I was considered kind of nerdy, not completely, but a lot of people thought that I was.
Okay. Well, we would know nothing about that. Our family knows nothing about that. Yeah. What about a favorite movie?
As a kid, I'd wait every year to see The Wizard of Oz on CBS. They used to play it every year. And half of it was in black and white, and then the second half was in color, so that was interesting. It kind of scared the bejesus out of me, but yet again, I loved the music. I like Sound of Music. There are a lot of movies. We go a lot to the movies, and especially because in February we go to a Oscar party that somebody holds in one of their houses, and we try to guess who the winners are. So my wife and I, Barb, get to see a lot of movies starting in the fall, but we see some over the summer and the rest of the year, but not quite as much.
Right, and I know you've been the winner of a trophy at those parties, correct?
Yeah, the party I won one year. This other couple, they go together and they've won most years, but they go off the New York Times or something. They don't even see a lot of the movies, so it's kind of unfair because I get biased, of course, by watching the movies, and I say, I like this movie, But I thought Black Klansman deserved to win this year, and I did like the Green Book, rather, and I thought that was very good. But I thought Black Klansman was better and deserved to win.
And do you have a favorite actor or actress?
Kirk Douglas, probably when I was younger or something like that, and Meryl Streep probably now for female. I think she's fantastic in most everything she plays.
Even after your brief run-in with her a few years back?
Yeah, even with my brief run-in with her, yeah. The story there, you were there when it happened. Cousin Jenny was graduating from Northwestern, and we were all invited to this special graduation, and we were he got us seats in the stadium that were in the box, and this was a huge box that I guess they hold parties at too. They had hors d'oeuvres and everything, and I think your brother knew that Meryl Streep's daughter, or somebody told us that Meryl Streep's daughter was graduating that year. Maybe Jenny told us, and she said she had an apartment from day one, and she really wasn't, circulating too much with the common folk. But we were up there enjoying ourselves before the graduation, and the kids came up, some of them, and then all of a sudden Meryl Streep walks in, and unbeknownst to me, Richard pointed out, there's Meryl Streep, look over there. She's wearing the sunglasses and the scarf around her head, like nobody's going to recognize her, And we, of course, recognized her, and all the people, which probably were in the neighborhood of maybe 100 people were in this special skybox or whatever. Try to take pictures of her just as quietly as possible and from far away.
Right.
Off and on during the ceremony and so forth. And she eventually did take the scarf off and the glasses, and her husband was there with their son and another daughter, all very good-looking family. Finally, after the ceremony, I didn't bring my camera, but Aunt Judy was along, and I said, can I borrow your camera? So as we were walking out, I was able to get a glimpse of her, and I was ready to snap the shot, and the other daughter said, somebody's trying to take your picture, Mom. With that, I think I got her scarf, and that was the extent of
A picture of the scarf, not her actual scarf.
No, I didn't take the scarf. I took a picture of the scarf
Yeah.
as it ended up.
You would probably not be good at the profession of paparazzi, I'm assuming.
No, I think I failed paparazzi 101 there. But we never talked to her, but we probably were within maybe 10 feet of her and her husband and her other two kids during this performance, or during the graduation. I guess it's a performance.
So you do have a special connection, I guess, sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're very close, Meryl and I,
Uh-huh.
and because of that adventure just in itself. But I'm sure I'm one of her forgotten people.
All right, and last favorite question, and don't let me persuade you in any way on this one, but who's your favorite child?
Oh, gosh.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I was thinking about that. Each one of my children, all two of them, you included, of course, and then, of course, my stepchildren as well. They all are favorite to me in certain ways, So
and all not favorite in certain ways, yeah.
And they're not favorite in certain ways too, yeah. Of course, yeah, no. But Richard and you, being my natural-born children, of course, are my most favorite. So I am prejudiced in that respect. But, you each have your own little likes that I connect with. You, sports, and Richard isn't that a sports fan as much, and him maybe more musically inclined, so maybe that, with him. But you like a lot of musicals, too. So, I mean, it's and we, played the same music for both of you in the car when you both were young, so you both inherited a like for oldies. So I mean, each of your little quirks that I like on both of you. So it's nice, to talk to either one of you, and we can talk about most anything except who you're dating. Sometimes annoys you, and your brother too.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, moving on to a different subject now. Okay. Here we go. So, no, I think we should probably kind of wrap this up. But I really like this. The one story that you had told me, or I guess the whole family, about your little adventure to work one day involving a pig, and I figure now would be a good time if you want to share that.
This was one morning a number of years ago. I was going in the morning on the expressway to Des Plaines on 294. All of a sudden, the traffic was moving slowly, and it usually moved pretty fast, and it was going at a very slow pace. And I noticed up ahead there was one of those farm animal trucks, and it looked like it had opened up in the back. There were some animals on the road, and they were trying to herd them back into this truck. And I was in the lane right next to the truck, and there was this pig who stepped right, kind of in front of me, and I think I may have hit him just kind of a little bit. He backed away, but he looked okay, and I drove to work and didn't really think of it. I kind of felt a little guilty, but he looked fine. He really did. Mm-hmm. Finally got to work and had my desk doing my normal thing of buying things, and all of a sudden I got a call from the receptionist, and she says, there are two state policemen up front that want to see you. And, geez, I didn't think anybody even noticed anything. So I walked up there. They said, were you driving down 294 this morning going southbound around Gulf Road? And I said, yeah. And did you hit a pig? I said, yeah. I said, how did you find out? Well, sir, he squealed on you.
Gets me all the time, just a little bit, less and less over the years, but it's still pretty funny.
Still pretty funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was, I think,
it was really good talking. Maybe we could talk again and tell you some more of the fantastic stories.
Yeah. Well, that was speaking of favorites. That was my favorite story that you ever told me. Well, thank you very much for spending some time on the very first ever Kicking It with Mclovin. I appreciate it, Dad.
It was my pleasure. I enjoyed it probably just as much, if not more than you.
Yeah. Well, good. It's always good to kind of get some background into your life, and from that, I think into my life a little bit too. So that's always fun. And yeah, thanks so much for hanging out for Kicking It with Mclovin.